Question, there's an Ameer of a Jamiat that ascribes itself to Hadith in Sindh. They claim that they are people of Hadith. And he said that the brothers such as Abu Khadeejah, really? That brothers such as Abu Khadeejah and so on must join the Jamiat of Ahlehadees in the UK and not break away from them. And if there are mistakes in their manhaj, then he should rectify them from within. When we say mistakes in manhaj, I mean, his advice is rejected and mardud, because this individual doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't, if this is what he believes is the way of Ahlus Sunnah, to join the people who have errors in usul and the foundations of the religion, to join them and to infiltrate them and change them from within. We are not jawasis, we are not spies, and we are not infiltrators into the jama'at, and we sit there as if we are hiding amongst their ranks, and then we try to change them from within, because and that's the hidden approach. If you take the open approach by joining them and refuting them from within, they'll kick you out within 24 hours, because they won't tolerate any any challenging of their authority and their ideology and their methodology. And this is from 30 years of experience with this Jam'iyah in the United Kingdom, which is called Markaz Jamiat Ahlehadees, which actually its headquarters in Birmingham, that is where the United Kingdom headquarters were. Actually, they've changed their name. They don't even call themselves Markaz Jamiat Ahlehadees anymore. They call themselves GLMCC. Why? Because to broaden the appeal. And they know that the general people, maybe they'll get scared off by the term Ahlul Hadith, so they changed their name. And now they call themselves GLMCC, Green Lane Mosque and Community Centre. And the doors are open to all of Ahlul Bid'ah to sit and cooperate and share platforms, especially in times of elections and so on. So this individual, this miskeen, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide him, because he is poor in terms of knowledge. I don't mean that in a manner of a derogatory term. I actually mean it in the sense of he is actually poor and a pauper in knowledge. Because if he had knowledge, and if he was truly a person of ilm, because it is said here that he is a sheikh and a scholar, then he would know that actually the usul of the deen necessitates that the aqeedah and the manhaj is one. So whomsoever I am with, and they are with me, whether they are in Pakistan or whether they are in Iraq, or whether they are in Saudi Arabia or United States of America or Canada or Mexico or South America, wherever they are in the world, that our manhaj and our aqeedah is one, even if we never meet each other. Our aqeedah is one, our manhaj is one. Where is that aqeedah and manhaj found? In the books of aqaid of the salaf, such as Usul Sunnah of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, or Al-Ibanatu Sughra and Kubra of Ibn Battah, or Al-Ha'iyya, some small lines of poetry from Ibn Abi Dawud al-Sijistani, or Sharh al-Sunnah of Al-Barbahari. These are books of Aqeedah of the Salaf. And other than them, the encyclopedia of Aqeedah, which gathers together the Aqeedah of hundreds, if not thousands, of the A'imma of the Salaf, which is Sharh Usul I'tiqad Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah of Al-Lalaka'i, or the book of Aqeedah of the Salaf, Aqeedatul Salaf Ashabul Hadith of Imam al-Sabuni, or Sharia of Al-Ajuri. So these books of the Salaf, if one was to read them, and I advise, rather than him advising me, I will advise him with actual Naseeha. And that is, read these books and read them at the feet of the scholars. Because you have not sat with the scholars. Or you think you've sat with the scholars, but maybe you didn't absorb what needed to be absorbed in terms of ilm and knowledge of the usul of the deen. We do not join, for example, Jamaatul Takfir. These takfiris who declare the Muslim rulers to be unbelievers. And they declare the Muslim Ummah to be upon disbelief, and they raise the sword against the Muslim Ummah, that we join them and say, well, okay, your Aqeedah is one, but your manhaj is different, so go and join them. Because they will say that we believe in the names and attributes of Allah, just as Ibn Taymiyyah or Ahmad ibn Hanbal said. And we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over his throne, above the seven heavens, ba'in min khalqihi, separate and distinct from his creation. But at the same time, they believe that the rulers are unbelievers, kuffar. So they say, well, this is just a methodological approach that differs. Why do you split away? Why don't you just join them? Why don't you join them? And go and hide in a cave? Why do you go and join them and make and say that you want to change them from within? Let's see how long your aqeedah and your manhaj will last. And the reason why they do that is because these people distinguish between the aqeedah and the manhaj, not knowing that actually they are one and the same. Because both of them are usul of the deen, they are foundations of the religion. So why would I join an organization that believes that it is okay to cooperate and praise and aggrandize and elevate the levels of the Asha'ira and invite them to your masjid? People who believe and they make ta'wil or misinterpretations of the names and the attributes of Allah. This is an issue of aqeedah, and they are speaking in your masjid. Why would I cooperate with a group of people who believe that you can bring a magician to your masjid and he does magic tricks, and when he is questioned he says there is a difference between magic and sorcery. Sorcery is haram and magic is halal. I don't want to go into the details of now refuting them upon these issues, because anyone who knows the Salafi Aqeedah and Manhaj knows that this is impermissible. And they allow women from political parties, such as socialist parties, that they stand upon the mimbar after the khutbah is delivered to tell the people. So she stands up there telling them and inviting them to vote for her. And then their mufti in the United Kingdom gives a fatwa that whomsoever does not vote for this woman to enter into the British Parliament, then he is a sinner in the sight of Allah. So this pauper, and I use the term advisedly because he is a miskeen in terms of ilm and usul and the knowledge of the aqeedah, he accuses myself or others similar to myself of making partisanship by not cooperating with those who are nothing more than an ikhwani organization that encompasses and tolerates all types of bid'ah, misguidance, ikhtilat between the men and women at their gatherings, and nasheed, and singing, and music, and making movies, because they make movies as well. They bring actors to make movies outside of their masjid about drug abuse and car accidents and fast cars and so on. Actors pouring red paint or red erasable paint upon their bodies as if they've just been shot or accident has occurred. And they make movies like this. And they say that this is the manhaj of da'wah. Da'wah, my brothers and sisters, is tawqifiyya. Da'wah and the way that you give da'wah is established in the teachings of the kitab and the sunnah. You cannot change the methodology of giving da'wah by doing play acting or singing or organizing concerts or voting for the socialist party and letting these women, and she's mutabarrija, she doesn't even cover herself, and they say this woman is going to give you a few words to encourage you to vote for her political party because we need a Muslim in parliament. So you've got Muslims in parliament now. Where did that get you in the UK? You got home secretaries who are Muslim, health secretaries who are Muslim, under, they had ministerial positions on the cabinet in the United Kingdom. How did that benefit the Muslims in the UK? Did it bring any quwwah? Did it bring any religious tolerance to Islamic schools or to Muslims in general? Did it aid the women who wear niqab or the Muslims who wish to pray and fast and so on? So these irreligious people become mayors of cities and ministers in parliament, and their desire is only for the kursi and power. They are corrupt and wicked individuals. So you want us to work with a jam'iyyah that is upon that path, and you think that somehow by Abu Khadeejah being amongst their ranks that I'm going to change them, that I should change them from within? Why don't you join them and change them? Why don't you do an audio tape advising them instead of advising me? Oh miskeen. Where's your rad against them and their manhaj? So the only one is me, and people like me should join their jam'iyyah and change it from within because they have errors in usul and manhaj and aqeedah. So I should enter them And you, in all of these 20, 30 years that you've been praising this Jam'iyah of corruption and misguidance and siyasa in the UK, where's your audio in refutation of them and their leaders? Where's your audio correcting them and correcting their following of the manhaj of Ikhwan al-Muslimin and Hassan al-Banna and Sayyid Qutb, and cooperating with all of the Jama'at except for the Salafis, because we're the only ones that you'll find them harsh in their refutation against. The harshest that they are in refuting is refuting us. This is when they start doing 1.5 hour audios on YouTube and videos on YouTube. So you save your harsh and your sternness for us, and you remain silent against them, and you say, oh, I'm just giving them advice to go and join the manhaj of Ikhwan and the Jam'iyat, who is now GLMCC, and they have split amongst themselves. Which Jam'iyat exactly do you want me to join? Ya miskeen. Because they have 35 mosques in the UK. They have split from each other. They barely cooperate with each other. Some of them don't even talk to each other. Each of them glorifying and being joyful in the party that they have set up for themselves. Yes, when they first began, they were united under one leadership. And that leadership was based in Birmingham, where I was born and raised. Within 20 years, they are divided and separated and split, because that's the nature of Hizbiyah. The nature of partisanship and calling to yourself and calling to your own handwritten constitution and calling to your own methodology that you have invented that is other than the methodology of the Kitab and the Sunnah. The ultimate result of that is that you'll argue amongst yourselves. I have been in their masjid, and we used to pray there before we had our own masjid. And you would hear after Jum'ah having their general meeting for the re-election of the new general secretary of the organization, fighting and punching and throwing chairs at each other. I know that from the 90s. You're not speaking to someone, Ya Miskeen from Sindh. You're not speaking to someone who does not know the Jamiat. I know it better than you. I know the Jamiat Ahlehadees, Markaz Jamiat Ahlehadees in the UK better than you. I know their leaders better than you. I've probably sat with them more often than you have sat with them. I've sat with their leaders one by one. Myself and my brothers. Sat with them, explained to them. It was them who allowed Muhammad Surur Zain al-Abidin, the founder and the muassas of this Sururi sect. He used to give lectures and durus in their masjid, in their headquarters of their masjid at Green Lane in the 90s. They are the ones who had the books of Qutb and Maududi upon their shelves, and they would not remove them. They are the ones who banned the Salafis from giving durus in their masjid. You want us to join them after they have banned us? How do you think they will accept us? Except that I bow my head to them and give a bay'ah of sorts, even if it is not a physical, literal bay'ah, but that I concede and I give up and I concede the manhaj of the Salaf just so that I can join their numbers. No, you are the one who is mistaken. You are the one, Allah yahdik, Allah guide you. You are the one who needs to understand the Salafi usul and the Salafi manhaj, and know that the Jam'iyat that are present today were not found amongst the ranks of the Salaf of this ummah. Which Jam'iyah was Abu Hanifa a part of? Name the name of the Jam'iyah. Name the name of the Jam'iyah. Give me the name of the Jam'iyah that Malik ibn Anas was a part of. Or Ahmed ibn Hanbal. What was the name of his Jam'iyah? What Ameer ship did he hold of? Which Jam'iyah? Which Hizb was Imam Shafi the leader of? Which Jam'iyah was Bukhari the leader of? These were all leaders in hadith and fiqh and ilm and ulama. They were imams and a'imma. Which Jam'iyah did they hold? That they called the people to join them. That you follow the Ameership of these people. Which one? And they were greater than all of your sheikhs put together. Even if you to gather them in the whole of the dunya, the Jamiat that you are referring to, all of your sheikhs gathered together, thousands of you would not equal one Ibn Taymiyyah. Yet Ibn Taymiyyah had no Jam'iyyah, no Hizb, no Firqa. He was Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, and his madhab was the madhab of Hadith and Sunnah and Salafiyyah. That was Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, Ahmad ibn Hanbal. So, thank you for your Naseeha, and I hope that someone conveys this Naseeha back to him, because it is more pertinent.